If y'all live in Texas and you're thinking to yourself right now, what can I plant this month in May? Well, I'm here to tell you. Hey, what's up? My name is Brooke, and I have been a certified Texas Master Gardener for 2 years now. And so today, I'm gonna give you guys a list of what you can plant in May in Texas. Now keep in mind, Texas is a big state and it contains a lot of zones, specifically gardening zones 6 through 10. And if you don't know what gardening zones you're in, I highly recommend checking out the website that I will leave linked down below, and you will be able to determine your USDA growing zone. This is definitely going to help you out a lot when doing research and determining what you can plant. We are located in zone 8, so we're actually right smack dab in the middle of these zones. So I do base my knowledge off of growing in gardening zone 8, but this list should hopefully cover zone 6 through 10. Keep in mind that if you have not passed your last frost date yet, these should not be planted until after that. So let's get started. First, I'm going to cover some crops that you can direct sow outdoors by seed. So starting out the list is southern peas. You can either do black-eyed peas or crowder peas. Both are great options. Next up is okra. This has got to be one of the easiest crops to grow, at least from my experience. You can literally just throw some seeds in the ground and you will get these huge, beautiful plants. A lot of times people also grow these not just for their fruit, but also their flowers. They create these huge, beautiful flowers on their stalk. Highly recommend, even if you don't enjoy eating okra. If you are growing it for the fruit, make sure that as soon as it starts putting on fruit, you're harvesting as often as possible. This will keep more and more coming for you. Next up is squash. You can either plant summer squashes like crookneck or zucchini like Black Beauty is a personal favorite of ours. And I'm gonna leave, if you guys don't really like zucchini, but you still would like to have it in your garden, I'm going to leave a link to a video down below where you can actually learn how to turn your zucchini into pineapple. And it works amazing, even for picky eaters. Next up is a super easy one. If you're a first-year gardener, this is a great one for you to try this year, and that's cucumbers. I have never had a problem getting cucumbers to grow in our Texas garden, and I highly recommend growing them. You can put them on a trellis, but I have found that trellising them or just letting them crawl on the ground both work. I do find that more animals tend to take from the plants if you let them grow on the ground, but it's not normally a big deal if you plant enough plants. Just make sure that you're also harvesting these very often, because if you leave them on the vine too long, you'll start to get these yellow cucumbers that taste very bitter. Next up is melons, and this can be cantaloupe or watermelon. I've had success with some varieties and then struggled with others. One of our favorite varieties to grow in the garden every year is one called Orange Glow. And as you can imagine, this one does have orange flesh. We plant it by seed outside every year and always get huge harvests. It's not quite as sweet as the red ones, but still a great one to grow in the garden. And with that color, it really is a showstopper. Next up is one that you may not think is a good garden crop, but a lot of home gardeners actually have started growing these now, and that's corn. And not only can you plant like the fresh corn that you can eat, but you can also plant popcorn. Just keep in mind not to plant sweet corn and popcorn too close together, because if they cross-pollinate, your corn's going to be ruined. So unless you have a large area where you can put popcorn and sweet corn very far away, only grow one of these. Golden Bantam is a personal sweet corn favorite of ours, and we have tried growing early pink popcorn. We've only tried growing popcorn once so far. We're gonna try again this year, but haven't been successful yet. And if you don't have a large enough space for corn, you can also plant in hills. So you can do a much smaller amount of corn than you think. I'll leave a good article down below for planting in hills. Next up is pumpkins. Pumpkins are always so fun to grow in the garden, and there's so many things that you can do with pumpkins, which makes it even better. Make sure that you pick the right variety for what you want to do. If you like to make pumpkin pies, make sure you get smaller varieties that are good for making pumpkin pie with. If you want to carve your pumpkins later in the fall, make sure that you get the jack-o'-lantern variety. So I recommend planting these in late May for a fall harvest. Next up are some plants that you can do by transplants or seedlings right now, but you should not be starting them by seed. First up is another one out there that's great for first-year gardeners, and that is tomatoes. Tomatoes are so easy here in Texas. They love the heat, and you should be planting these in early May for Central and North Texas. Otherwise, guys, I would definitely recommend picking some heat-tolerant varieties, because once it does get in the triple digits here, they do tend to struggle a little bit. And then another awesome transplant or seedling idea for first-year gardeners is peppers. You can do sweet or hot, and there's so many different varieties and colors and flavors to choose from. So experiment and definitely grow what you eat. If you like bell peppers, Purple Beauty is a gorgeous one. It creates beautiful dark purple bell peppers. So if you like bell peppers and you want something a little different in the garden than what you normally get at the store, that's a great one. You can also grow your own cayenne, your own banana pepper, sweet or hot, chili peppers. Whatever you'd like to eat is what you should grow. And then the last transplant or seedling option that I have on my list that we're actually trying for the first time this year is eggplant. Never done eggplant, for the reason being that we don't really eat a lot of eggplant. And so it wasn't something that I wanted to try in our garden right away. But now that we've been gardening for quite a while now, it's something that I want to give a shot. So this year I did some Black Beauty, and we're gonna see how it turns out. Next up are herbs. Herbs aren't normally great companions for other plants in your garden, or you may have your own dedicated herb garden, which is awesome too. First up is basil. Now, you may be tempted to go grab that grocery store basil you see that has like 5 plants in a little pot, and I have to be honest, I have been successful planting those plants and harvesting from them throughout the year. Some others have not. So it may just be a hit or miss with those. They are extremely cheap, and if you're on a very, very, very tight budget, it might be worth a shot. You can also start basil by seed, or you can actually get transplants from a nursery. It's really up to you. But basil is so easy to grow and a great companion for tomatoes. It'll actually make your tomatoes more flavorful. The second one, which I also highly recommend adding to your garden, is oregano. Now for us in Zone 8, this is a perennial plant, which is very nice because we only had to plant it once and it stays in the garden forever. Now I do need to tell you, in our garden specifically, it has spread a lot and taken over a lot of area that it wasn't meant to. I don't hear of a lot of other people talking about this, so it may just be my experience with oregano, but I'm not overly worried about it. I just rip it up and keep it small and dry it out and use it. Oregano has a lot of health benefits. And this one is one that we haven't tried in the garden yet, and that's rosemary. If you like to use rosemary in a lot of things, highly recommend planting. I've heard it's an easy one. Next up is another one that we do not have in our garden specifically, and that's thyme. But like I said, we planted things in our garden of things that we actually eat, and now we're just starting to experiment with some different things that we don't usually eat. So rosemary and thyme are not things that we use very often in our kitchen, just our taste. And so for us, they weren't our priorities of getting in the garden. This is one I do believe that we added to the garden this year, and that's lemongrass. Lemongrass is a nice one to have in your herb garden. Smells good. You can use it in soaps, in salves. I believe you can also use it in tea, if I'm not mistaken. So a great one to have. Next up is one that is extremely invasive, and I recommend planting it in pots if you don't want it to take over an entire area, and that's mint. There are so many different types of mint you can do, like peppermint, chocolate mint. I think there's even one called pineapple mint. And mint is so versatile and can be used in so many different things, which makes it fun. And I honestly just love going out to the garden and picking off the plant and eating right from it too as well. It's almost like nature's own breath mint. But like I mentioned, if you don't want it to spread too much, definitely keep it in a pot because it's going to take over whatever area you put it in. And a couple of flower options. For my vegetable gardeners out there, I am going to be geared towards vegetable gardeners in this video. I know very little about flowers themselves, and I'm very much into the vegetable gardening side of things. So these flowers are specifically geared towards vegetable gardeners and stuff that I actually have planted in our garden and really helps the vegetables succeed. First up is zinnias. We actually had a volunteer zinnia pop up in our garden last year, and let me tell you, it attracted so many pollinators to our garden, and I literally did nothing to make it grow and give us hundreds of blooms. They make great cut flowers. They are edible. So if your garden is completely 100% edible, then zinnias are still a good option because the petals are edible, and we actually put them in our salad for a nice pop of color. But highly recommend in Texas because they are so easy. The second one is marigolds. This is a must-have in every vegetable garden. Marigolds, again, are edible themselves. They can be used in teas, put in salad, that kind of stuff. But they also are great companion plants for a lot of vegetables, including tomatoes. They help keep the hornworms away, which we normally had a major problem with this in August, but we never have a problem anymore that we started putting marigolds in the garden. They also help keep aphids away. So if you have any of these problems, they are great for the garden. The last one is sunflowers. I don't even think I need to explain why sunflowers are a good option for your garden. And honestly, they're not even that hard. They really need a very little care. They actually enjoy the heat. Keep in mind when you're planting them that they do face their heads towards the sun. So if you're trying to like plant them on a pathway or something, make sure that their heads are going to be facing the right way, or else you might just be seeing the back of them. Sunflowers are also edible, and you can grow them for the seeds as well. Just make sure you harvest them before the birds get to them. So that's my Texas list of what you guys can plant in May. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button.